However, what it doesn't measure is alpha radiation. Alpha radiation is the other form of radiation that uranium miners are exposed to, that coming from the radon gas that's a breakdown product of uranium in the ore body. Now, what's the significance of this? Well, the problem with alpha radiation is it's got a 20 times impact, biological impact on the body than gamma radiation. So if you can't measure it, you can't determine the potential impact on the human being. Now remember, these are particles, and ironically, they can be stopped by a piece of paper, but that's the problem. Once the radon gas is inhaled and the alpha particles are stopped by the lining of the lung, or ingested and absorbed by the gastrointestinal tract, they deposit all their energy in such a small volume that the damage to the DNA is potentially massive, and as I said, 20 times what gamma radiation would be causing. Now, if you can't measure that, that's a big concern, a workplace concern that needs to be addressed.
The miners wear a badge for measuring radiation. That's called a
TLD badge.
TLD badge. So,
yeah,
is it compulsory that they wear those TLD badges?
It's compulsory. It's not enforced, and the contractors, a lot of the contractors aren't issued with them unless they're going to be a long-term contractor. Yeah, there was quite a period there where very few contractors actually had TLD badges, and of course the contractors get put in to do the dirty work, for want of a better word.
The latest literature has indicated that radon and hence its radiation effects are actually twice as damaging as we previously thought.
In your workplace, you can find that you're in trouble with your superior people that you're working under, or you can lose your job by following the BHP guidelines. If you do make a call and say, "I refuse to work in this situation because it's unsafe," the people you're working under would most likely say, "We no longer need you anymore," and BHP would not help you in any way.
Have you been in a situation like that?
Yes, I have.
And what happened?
I basically found myself out of work.
They'll sack you for not wearing a seatbelt. Well, how about dismissing some of your managers and supervisors who aren't providing us with a safe workplace? Because that's your duty of care, but there's not many people that will speak out.
Why is that?
Fear of their job, fear of not getting employment in another mine if they do speak out. You mainly find it's the older fellows that will speak out.
You agreed to do this providing your identity was kept anonymous. What's the reason for that?
Well, I need to be employed in my lifetime still, and I don't want to be put in a position of being considered not to be a person worthy of employing.
Because you, in a sense, whistleblowing on BHP Billiton?
Well, a company such as BHP Billiton may consider that what I'm doing is whistleblowing. I don't consider I'm whistleblowing. I consider that I'm trying to state some facts about the mining element existing at Olympic Dam Mine, which people in the general public, and I think even people in the political arena, are not really aware of.
Okay, well this is pretty isolated here at Roxby Downs. Has that got an effect on the people here? I mean, are there high levels of depression amongst the workers, or the...
I don't know if it's the actual isolation. I would say the depression comes more from the environment that the workers actually have to work in.
But there is a high level of depression amongst the workers?
Generally, I would say yes. And certainly it's a very alcohol-fueled culture.
I know a few people who are on medication. Most miners are on their own medication, i.e. alcohol or something else. So yeah, of course management knows.
Well, since you left Roxby Downs, have you been able to ascertain just what sort of an effect it's had on your physical and mental health the time you were there?
I think probably I also did get caught up in too much of the alcohol culture myself. Physically, that's had a detrimental effect upon me, working at the mine itself. And my mental state at times probably deteriorated to some of the lowest that I've experienced in my lifetime.
In terms of what, depression or?
Yes, depression. Yes. At times, and I'm a person who generally can bounce back and rise above depression, but I got pretty bogged down in it to the point at where one stage I sent one of my brothers a message via email, basically telling him that suicide was a possibility, and I didn't really think it was worth living for a longer life.
What's the supervisor's attitude towards the union? You know, if you wanted to get the union in there about an issue or to talk over
Oh, no,
safety
they
issues?
don't like that.
Yeah.
They don't like that at all.
What do?
They ignore it or brush it away. They don't try and get guys not to be in a union.
BHP Billiton see themselves as a sort of open employer, and yet unions are not encouraged here. In fact, we were unable to find anyone who said they were in a union while we were up here.
I think in my experience, and people that I've spoken and got to know working at the mine, unionism is non-existent. I doubt whether there's anybody working on the mine site at Roxby Downs who would be a member of a union. I do know that some union people have tried to come to Roxby and hold meetings, wanted to hold meetings to try to attract people to come to meetings and get interested in unions. These people have been totally blocked. BHP will not allow that sort of thing to happen.
And is that a culture that's developed recently, or I mean, there seems to be quite a few of the top-level executives of BHP come from South Africa these days.
Yes.
Do you think maybe they've brought some of their business practices over here?
I think so personally, yes. Without wanting to seem racist, and I don't consider myself to be racist, I am under the impression that most of the higher level of BHP Billiton in Roxby Downs are people originally from South Africa. That is, white South African people. And they are a very close-knit group of people who don't really align or socialise with other people. And their practices seem to be, yes, perhaps following in the lines of what they would have done in South Africa, and still thinking that there's a lot of people waiting at the gates to come and work for BHP. And I don't know that that's really the case. I don't know that there's a lot of people who would be really awaiting and really wanting to come and work at Roxby Downs anymore.
Well, for young guys who want to join the mining industry, I mean, yeah, it's good for the money, but it's not good for your life. Think about it. And if you're going to join the unions, because they will fight for you, for your rights, and they will back you up and support you.